Hey everyone, welcome to Kernels, where we discuss short films. Today's short film is called Driven from 2022. It's a familiar director. We watched his, I wouldn't call it a short, but it was more of a reel for an idea that he has. The director is Eddie Yellin. So we'll get into it.
So huge contrast in terms of like
Yeah.
that idea was like an idea. Like it was definitely like a tech demo, like we kind of discussed. This
Mhm.
one is actually like a
A
story.
short, yeah.
And yeah, there's like dialogue and all that stuff. So this one had a little bit more action to it. Granted, it was longer. What this was like
Mhm.
18 minutes too.
18.
Yeah.
It was a quick 18 though. Like a lot of we I don't know how often we say it. We're probably beating a dead drum at this point, but
Yeah.
and it's the same with films and TV shows. There's times where you'll watch something and you feel the time, like watching it. Like, oh, okay, it says 2 hours. It felt like 2 hours, if not longer. And then there's times where you watch something and it's like, oh, this was 3 hours, but it felt like an hour and a half. This felt like one of those moments where it said, we'll say 20 minutes, we'll round up, but it felt shorter.
Yeah. You're kind of like once it's over, you're like, all right, well, it's over and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you where it's like you don't feel about 18 minutes and stuff. There's other things that we've watched for this podcast or even for this
Hmm.
channel and stuff where it's like, like you like have to pause it. I think you've said that a few
Man,
times. Where it's like
oh,
I have to
so many
pause it and
times.
then go get distracted for a little bit.
Yeah. Half the time I don't even pause it. I just leave. I'm like, all right, it's still going. I'll come back. I'm not going to miss
I
anything.
can
Like,
hear it.
yeah, exactly. You used to get mad at me when we lived together. Like, how do you just leave? I'm like, because
Yeah, yeah, it was
I
hilarious.
don't
He would
know.
put something on and then go wash dishes.
I'm like, I could hear it. Like, I'm not missing anything. I'm a visual person. I know what's going on just based on the dialogue. I'm all right.
What'd you like most about this? Granted, we saw the two contrasts where it's like it was a
Mhm.
tech demo for the last one. This one was an actual story.
I like the pacing, and that's a testament to how quickly uh, the short felt, or how fast the short felt. But I like that we got a story this time. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was difficult for us to provide a review. Like we gave a review, we released the episode, but it was difficult to provide a review for the tech demo. Like the shots were pretty, but because there wasn't really a story to the tech demo, it was difficult to kind of talk about it. This one, the story was cool. It
It
obviously it
was
could have used
interesting.
some work. Yeah, it could have
Like,
used some work, but everybody starts somewhere. So I can't really uh, talk about the story itself. It was a story. It was a short. The pacing was good, or the flow and pacing were good. There were some holes here and there, but that's something that you release your first short or an early short, and then as you progress, they get better.
yeah, this one did have like, granted, there is sort of a character arc and everything. Like
Hmm.
the end where it's like the dude blocks the little gangster kid from his life and
Yeah.
everything, and decides to like, even though you have questions where it's like, I don't think that ends the story of like you stealing the money from this guy, right?
Yeah. That was kind of glossed over. Like,
Yeah, like he
you
has to
stole
wake up in
money,
the
you
morning and still
gave.
look behind his
Yeah.
back.
Because that guy was found him so quickly. So there's no way he's not going to be able to be found again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like granted, and you have like a variety of people that are kind of working on this. Like
Hmm.
the first one that we saw with the tech demo was one person, and there
Yeah,
was like
one
some like
character.
random shots, and I think we both agree that that was sort of like testing out a new camera that they had maybe
Hmm.
or some like just some new ways of kind of like approaching shots where this you have like a kind of like all encompassing thing where it's like I have to light this whole
Yeah.
like scene. I have to capture
Dialogue.
the audio and stuff where it's like you see some like difficulties where it's like I can tell you like dealing with audio just even for this like these recordings that we do it's a pain because it's like you're trying to figure out like all right like is that the correct level and then where in this short you can tell maybe sometimes like the mic is not correctly placed somewhere where it's
Hmm.
like the character's voice is like really far away or you're hearing too much of of the kind of scenery, which
Oh,
is
the
funny because
outside
like
noise.
yeah, like I watched this short and then I went on to watch the Presumed Innocent episode, and it's like
Oh,
where
it's
like
night and day.
audio is like poof, like right
Yeah.
there, and so you see like where it's like just subtle improvements and everything. I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, do you think it's hard for like a low budget or even like an entry level director or
Hmm.
cinematographer like this person um, to light night shots? Because like either like in this, I don't know if you noticed, like where like it looked like there was like a spotlight, but then everything
Yeah.
else was kind of dark, like, or it just looked like everything was lit up too much, where it's like it that doesn't typically like when you go outside at night, it's like either pitch black or just subtle light and everything. Like, you think it's like super difficult to like light dark shots?
I think there's ways. So I'll give my perspective. My first attempt at a short, I didn't have a script. I just had a general idea of, hey, this, I think this is cool. And got some friends together. We went out and shot it. And I didn't understand how difficult it was until we got out there. And it was us like super guerrilla style, figuring shots out as we were there, working things out as we were there. So what should have taken maybe 2 or 3 hours if I came prepared or if we came prepared, it took 4 or 5, if not longer. And to answer your question, the short that we did was all shot at night, and you can get away with some lighting just based on like what's out there. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
at a well lit street, you can compensate there, and then your camera can help as well. But if you have a vision for how you want something lit, typically you would have to use an additional light that you provide. And if you're new to it, you may over light or like overcompensate for the light, and then you have to adjust your camera settings, or you may not have enough light, as you pointed out. So I think that comes with the repetition of it and like the
Mm-hmm.
trial and error of like, okay, cool. I have this idea for how I want the lighting. So you try it, but it may not come out as well as you think. So you go back to the drawing board the next time and you work on it. Like, luckily for what I shot or what my friends and I shot, there was enough lighting because we were downtown Bay Area. There's lighting everywhere. And then we had some interior car shots. And I had this little tube light. It's called a nan light, and we were able to use that to capture some shots as well. So we were able to kind of figure it out.
But it kind of almost justifies the director's like test footage of that
Mm,
other short where it's like, oh, let me try some things out.
yeah,
So then you kind of see as to like how it comes out, because it's like you said, like you can set up a shot and either it's like lit too much where it just doesn't look natural,
yeah,
or it's just like washes out, or like I think it more the natural feel of like how our vision is at night
yeah.
is like a way to kind of like shoot for.
And that's
Um,
difficult too,
yeah,
especially on
right.
like a little to no budget. It's super difficult.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I was actually very surprised at the coloring of the first
Yeah,
shot, where it's like the dude's like in his like little like kind of
dorm
like a safe
room.
space and everything. Well, no, that guy that got killed and everything in
Oh,
the
the guy that,
beginning.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was
it was
like
like
at work or
how
something in like an
the
office.
light was like bouncing off his face
Hmm.
and it looked very cool and everything. And I was very surprised that they were doing those running shots of when they were chasing each other,
Hmm.
and the camera was like super smooth.
That's probably a gimbal, man.
Yeah, but
Gimbals do
that
wonders.
saves it. Yeah, where it's like
Yes.
I go to imagine like the person running from like super tired, and it's the
Oh
director
yeah.
basically. But
Heavy breathing, just trying to
yeah,
hold it.
yeah, without a gimbal, we saw it. I think there was a movie. Was it like Point Break, where like it looked like the camera guy was like running with them?
Oh yeah.
It added more of a natural kind of suspense, but then it's almost like jarring to
No,
your
but I think
eyes.
in that case, no, Point Break, I think they did it well because they had just enough shake. And
Yeah.
I think it's because of how heavy the camera was. I think we watched something else where it was just like dramatic shake, and we were like, "What are you doing? Like, why would you put this out?"
Well, it's like no matter what, I think you have like a 50-50 shot of like either it's going to be horrible for the person watching it or it's going to
Yes.
be like, all right, this is kind of good and everything because
Yeah.
it's like.
Yeah. It's that fine balance. And cameras now, like the lens and the camera have image stabilization, and
Yeah, there's a lot of things kind of
yeah,
going
there's ways to help
tech
you now
wise.
with what
Yeah.
you have. Yeah. Even
I'm
with
assuming there's
phones.
editing processing too, and the editors you can kind of like help with some of that stuff. It's not going to probably
Yeah,
be the best thing, but there is some like help with that. Yeah, and your
that's true.
phone's stabilized too,
Hmm.
and there's some work to that. But this one is actually cool. There's some holes and everything in terms of the
Yeah.
story, but it was like interesting where like the kid decides to do this random act like who is like not dumb in their life and everything and decides to do something and and then it's like oh man that's turning serious.
The only the only gripe, excuse me, the only gripe I had was when the main character got into the car and opened the glove box and took the money out. The money, you can actually tell that it was what did I put in here? That it was fake money. It was prop money. There we go. Because
Interesting.
and I didn't. So I told you, but since we're recording now, I watched this yesterday, but I just wasn't in the mode of like, or in the mood to like fully engage in what I was watching. I think I ended up just listening to music yesterday. So I had it playing, but I just wasn't engaged. So I rewatched it prior to us recording, and that's when I noticed it. It's right in the corner, and the only reason it really stood out is because I have the same prop money. So I saw it. Like initially, you see it when it's getting taken out of the envelope, and it's like, oh, that looks realistic. But then he moves his hand over or something, or he takes the money out all the way, and you can see it says copy. And in most cases, you wouldn't be able to see it, but because I have the same prop money, it was like my eyes went straight to that, and I was like, oh, I have that money.
Hey man, that's like a look behind the curtain with movie magic where it's like, hey, they
Hmm.
sell prop money out there.
Yeah.
Like when you saw Breaking Bad and he was just in his storage facility with a bunch of money, that's
Yes.
not
That's not all
actual
real
money
money.
that's
Yeah,
sitting
no. That's probably like maybe a layer of like prop money, and
there.
then just boxes that they whatever.
Yeah, or like, and also you probably see like the more money you spend on the prop money, probably you get
Oh,
better
the better it
quality.
looks for sure. Yeah. Yeah, because mine has like characters and stuff. There's like pink on one side. It's yeah. I didn't get the high end stuff. I got
So
the oh hey,
yeah,
Amazon can get it to me tomorrow. I'm buying that.
you're not going to be able to go down to the grocery store and try to like, hey, I'm gonna
No,
buy
no,
a
no, no,
piece
no.
of gum and everything.
It did. So the one thing it did give us a great shot in something we were filming. We another idea without a script, but we had this robbery short that I don't know if we finished putting it together, but we have it, and there's a scene where the robber gets into the getaway car. I'm the getaway driver, and I look over at the robber, and I have him open the bag, and we put the camera inside of the backpack that he used and had the money around it. It just happened to kind of sit perfectly. So when he opens the bag, we cut to the camera looking up, and you see some of the money, but you can't see the copy. So it worked out perfectly for us.
There you go. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good way to kind of like go work around what you got and
Yeah.
everything, and like you got an interesting shot too, probably.
Yeah. I love the shot. Yeah. I don't think we ever like fully put or edited the footage we have, but we have it there. We just have to finish putting the
We'll
finishing
have
touches on
to
it.
drop the world premiere on Saturday Night Popcorn.
Yeah, and I hope I'll take all the feedback, because I just remembering it, I'm like it's not the greatest, and it's like a minute long maybe. So
Hey,
I'm cool with all the feedback if we end up putting it out to this channel.
yeah.
I may just put it on my personal.
Now with this short film, Driven, it's the
Mhm.
second kind of like short film that we watched from this director.
Yes.
Do you recommend this film? I know that the last one we did not because it was like more like a tech demo where it's like
Yeah.
unless you're like really interested in that, you probably will find it yourself and everything. But with this being a little bit more of a story, like who do you find yourself like recommending this to?
I think the typical, like, I watching this motivated me more into getting back into some ideas that I had already started but just didn't execute. So I had like a rough script, I have mood board, or like storyboarding and everything done, and I just kind of left it at that point. But like watching this was like, oh yeah, everybody starts somewhere, put it out, or like refine it a little more if you need to, and then put it out. Like don't just hold it on your computer because no one's ever going to
Yeah,
see it,
right.
and you're not going to improve that way. So
Mhm.
me as an aspiring filmmaker, like watching this motivated me, and I think it would do the same for others.
I agree. That's probably like the best person to like recommend this to, or it's like if anybody's like interested in trying to make something for themselves, like with their phones. I know we talked about it last one with the last one too, where it's like they put a shot on a Sony. Like
Mm,
if you're not troubled by like what stuff you have, like your
yeah,
phone can probably do a lot of these things.
yeah,
But it kind of shows you how if you just go out there and do it and then get some feedback, then hey, you can go on and progress to the next thing and
yeah.
do a drone shot. I know there was like a really cool drone shot in the last one that we saw from this
Hmm.
person where it's like get some cool stuff like that and everything.
Yeah,
So yeah, I agree with you where it's like I think it's like anybody that's interested in like making something for themselves
yeah,
would be interested in this,
yeah. And just put it out to the world. That's something I keep telling myself is like,
right?
stop storing it on your computer. It's never gonna see the light of day. Just get some friends together and just put it out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so let us know in the comments below. We will link Driven, the short film that we just talked about, in the description below, so you can see it for yourself. It's found on YouTube. But let us know in the comments below if you've seen Driven, the short film, if you liked it, disliked it, what you thought about it, and if you have any like aspirations to do a project for yourself, like how Kai does, and has the video sitting in his hard drive.
But it's different than the short film I want to do. That was more of, I would say, a tech demo or like an idea demo.
But now we got to see it.
Yeah,
But yeah, and let us know if you have any recommendations in the comments below or on our social media, Saturday Night Popcorn social media. If you have any recommendations for short films that you want us to watch and then discuss in the future, let us know and we will definitely look into them. And please remember to like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more kernels like these.